In 1855, Brigham Young preached a sermon in which he denied that the Lord came to Joseph Smith in the first vision. But as it was in the days of our Savior, so was it in the advent of this new dispensation. It was not in accordance with the notions, traditions, and preconceived ideas of the American people. The messenger did not come to an eminent divine of any of the so-called orthodoxy, he did not adopt their interpretations of the Holy Scriptures. The Lord did not come with the armies of heaven, in power and great glory, nor send his messengers panoplied with aught else than the truth of heaven, to communicate to the meek, the lowly, and the youth of humble origin, the sincere inquirer after the knowledge of God. But he did send his angel to this same obscure person, Joseph Smith Jr., who afterwards became a prophet, seer, and revelator, and informed him that he should not join any of the religious sects of the day, for they were all wrong. Journal of Discourses, Volume 2, page 171. John Taylor, the third president of the church, made the following statement on March 2, 1879. Just as it was when the prophet Joseph asked the angel which of the sects was right that he might join it. The answer was that none of them are right. What, none of them? No. We will not stop to argue that question. The angel merely told him to join none of them, that none of them were right. Journal of Discourses, Volume 20, page 167. George A. Smith, who was sustained as first counselor in the first presidency in 1868, made this statement in November of the same year, when Joseph Smith was about 14 or 15 years old. There was a revival of religion. He had read the Bible and had found that passage in James. He went humbly before the Lord and inquired of him, and the Lord answered his prayer, and revealed to Joseph, by the ministration of angels, the true condition of the religious world. When the holy angel appeared, Joseph inquired which of all these denominations was right and which he should join, and was told they were all wrong. Journal of Discourses, Volume 12, pages 333-34. A photograph of the Journal of Discourses, Volume 2, page 171. Brigham Young says that the Lord did not come to Joseph Smith in the first vision, but instead sent his angel. Many other confusing statements about the first vision were made by Mormon leaders after Joseph Smith's death. Today the first vision has become of such importance that a person must believe it to be considered a good Mormon. David O. McKay, the ninth president of the church, stated that the first vision is the very foundation of this church. Gospel Ideals, page 85. In his thesis, page 75, Paul R. Cheeseman stated that the Mormon Church "must stand or fall on the authenticity of the first vision and the appearance of the angel Moroni." Apostle Widso stated, "The story of the first vision need only be studied from original sources to assure a seeker not only of its truth, but also of the time of its occurrence." Joseph Smith, Seeker After Truth, page 26. When we examine the original sources, especially the sources suppressed by the Mormon leaders for over 130 years, we find that the first vision story rests on a very sandy foundation. Dr. Hugh Nibley once criticized anti-Mormon writers for omitting the all-important words, "This is my beloved son," when giving Joseph Smith's story. If Dr. Nibley had read Joseph Smith's first-hand written account of the vision, perhaps he would not have been so eager to criticize, for Joseph Smith not only omitted the all-important words, but he also left God the Father completely out of the vision. The second account by Joseph Smith also did not contain the all-important words. In fact, it contained words which seemed to show that it was not the Father and the Son. An examination of the first published history of the Church makes matters even worse, for it does not even mention the first vision. Moreover, Oliver Cowdery claimed that in 1823 Joseph Smith did not even know if a supreme being did exist. Certainly, if Joseph Smith had seen the Father and the Son in 1820, as the official account proclaims, he would know in 1823 that a supreme being did exist. Besides all this, falsification has been found in the history of the Church. Joseph Smith told Erastus Holmes about his first visitation of angels, but later Mormon historians altered this to read, "My first vision." It is very difficult to believe in the authenticity of Joseph Smith's first vision story when there is so much evidence against it. No revival in 1820. Joseph Smith claimed that just before he received his first vision there was a great revival in his neighborhood. Sometime in the second year after our removal to Manchester, there was in the place where we lived an unusual excitement on the subject of religion. It commenced with the Methodists, but soon became general among all sects in that region of country. Indeed, the whole district of country seemed affected by it, and great multitudes united themselves to the different religious parties, which created no small stir and division amongst the people. I was at this time in my 15th year. My father's family was proselyted to the Presbyterian faith, and 4 of them joined that church, namely, my mother Lucy, my brothers Hiram, Samuel, Harrison, and my sister Sophronia. During this time of great excitement my mind was called up to serious reflection. So in accordance with this my determination, to ask of God, I retired to the woods to make the attempt. It was on the morning of a beautiful clear day, early in the spring of 1820, Times and Seasons, Volume 3, pages 727–28. In 1967 the Utah Christian Tract Society published Wesley P. Walters's study, New Light on Mormon Origins from the Palmyra, New York, Revival. In the foreword to this work, Mr. Walters states, Mormons account for the origin of their movement by quoting from a narrative written by their prophet Joseph Smith, Jr. in 1838. In this account he claims that a revival broke out in the Palmyra, New York area in 1820. Information which we have recently uncovered conclusively proves that the revival did not occur until the fall of 1824 and that no revival occurred between 1819 and 1823 in the Palmyra vicinity. On pages 5, 8, 11 and 12 of the same pamphlet we find these statements by Mr. Walters. Such a revival does not pass from the scene without leaving some traces in the records and publications of the period. In this study we wish to show by the contemporary records that the revival, which Smith claimed occurred in 1820, did not occur until the fall of 1824. We also show that in 1820 there was no revival in any of the churches in Palmyra or its vicinity. In short, our investigation shows that the statement of Joseph Smith Jr. cannot be true when he claims that he was stirred up by an 1820 revival to make his inquiry in the grove near his home. An even more surprising confirmation that this revival occurred in 1824 and not in 1820 has just recently come to light. While searching through some dusty volumes of early Methodist literature at a nearby Methodist college, imagine our surprise and elation when we stumbled upon Reverend George Lane's own personal account of the Palmyra revival. It was written, not at some years' distance from the event as the Mormon accounts all were, but while the revival was still in progress and was printed a few months later. Lane's account gives us not only the year, 1824, but even the month and date. By September 1825 the results of the revival for Palmyra had become a matter of record. The Presbyterian Church reported 99 admitted on examination and the Baptist had received 94 by baptism, while the Methodist circuit showed an increase of 208. When we turn to the year 1820, however, the great multitudes are conspicuously missing. The Presbyterian Church in Palmyra certainly experienced no awakening that year. Reverend James Hodgkin's history records revivals for that church as occurring in the years 1817, 1824, 1829, etc., but nothing for the year 1820. The records of Presbyterian Synod give the same picture. Since these reports always rejoice at any sign of a revival in the churches, it is inconceivable that a great awakening had occurred in their Palmyra congregation and gone completely unnoticed.